Tell me just a little bit about your day. Like, what does a day in the life of Samantha Germano look like after you're done with your morning routine?
People ask me that all the time, and I always say, I know it's like a cliche thing, like every day is different.
Just act confused, and everyone like lays off. They're like, oh man, he's confused.
He's confused. Yeah.
Don't
talk to him.
I'm like, don't talk to him. I'm acting confused.
I like to stick to the finder, keeper, doer mentality of like, okay, no matter what happens today, like let's meet 5 new people. Let's follow up with like 5 clients, and let's take care of like 5 things, like the 5-5-5.
Pretty cool things that Sam does that
Yes.
I think are unique and also super helpful. And maybe I might take a page out of your book and staple it into mine.
I love it. Okay. Okay.
Okay, it's like a comfort place for me.
Oh, really?
I hate light. Can't deal with light if I'm sleeping. If there's like one light on, I'm like...
Oh.
So I have to put the eye mask on. We'll get to me in a second.
Yeah. We'll get to you. And put on like sounds that feel calming to you, whatever that they are.
The Broken That Never Sleeps podcast. This is
Don't meditate to our podcast.
Oh. Sorry, shameless plug there. Welcome, everybody. This is the Broker That Never Sleeps podcast. This is Samantha Germano. My name is Nile Lundgren, and we are bringing some gems to you today because we're going to be speaking about a number of different things, including routines, okay, which I think is a very, very important process in life and also in real estate. And as we go, we're going to speak about our first 10 minutes. We always kind of chat about some celebrity gossip, some real estate, and we're going to let Samantha Germano take it away.
Some real estate buzz to kick us off on this
buzz.
Tuesday morning. Okay, Niall, Tommy Hilfiger, his mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, just hit the market. Located in one of the wealthiest cities in America, Greenwich, Connecticut, the 1930s mansion features a guest cottage, a tennis court, and a pool with a cabana. It has 7 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, 7,400 square feet, and 5.3 acres.
5.3 acres. How many square? 70. It's only 7,400 square feet interior.
Yeah.
Is it near? Does it have any water elements? Is it on a beach?
No, but it comes with a pool and a cabana.
Okay, so 7,000, 4,000. I'd say, Greenwich is super wealthy, and yes. I know Tommy Hilfiger kind of blows it out. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to say around like 50 million, but I could be way off.
Much lower.
Right, okay. So, all right, so if I'm looking at not an old, it's an older build?
Yeah.
It's an older build, not on the water, 7,000 square feet. Let's just say 3,000 a foot on the high side. So 21 million.
Lower.
Really? 15?
9.7.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm way off. I'm from Connecticut. You think I'd know this?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's like...
That must be like the guest mansion that they're just like piecing off. Like, yeah, we have too much real estate.
It does
Let's
feature...
just get rid of this one.
Yeah. Let's get this one off of our hands.
I think I should buy it.
I think you should.
Okay. Should we go see it? We're gonna go leave right now and go take a look at it.
Time out.
We'll see you
go.
later.
And then by the time we come back, Nile will have already purchased Tommy Hilfiger's mansion.
It sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's pretty tricked out.
I'm sure it is. Do you think one of the main reasons people buy these celebrity homes is to say, like half of it is to say that it was a celebrity home?
I think a big part about real estate is the cachet that a property holds, and the cachet of having a celebrity in an apartment is very high. Mm-hmm. For example, I did a deal with a very well-known supermodel, and she was living in one of the apartments that I rented her an apartment in my listing. And ever since then, and I've rented like that apartment 5 times since then, I just always say, oh yeah, she lived here.
Yeah.
And people are like, really?
Yeah.
And they freak out and they want to live there. So I think when you are living in New York or living in LA or in Connecticut, people want to be around that sort of cachet. It sounds good. It feels good.
You want the affiliation.
Yeah. There's pop culture. It's like, hey, look, she used this toilet seat. So am I. I know it's a little weird, but I think it goes a long way in bolstering property value in specific apartments or homes, but also in specific neighborhoods as well.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Makes for a good conversation.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. All right, let's get into what we're going to talk about today. as you said in the beginning.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm nervous. Samantha hit me up like last night at 1 a.m. She's like, hey, Nile, check this out. I got this cool idea. I'll tell you later, but we're going to do it. I'm like, uh-oh.
Because I figured if you wanted to hear more about it, you would ask. So I was like, I'll tell him in the
I just
morning.
said exclamation point because as you were up at 1 a.m., so was I.
What were you doing?
Well, my evening routine.
Which we're about to get into right now.
Okay, so let's talk about routines.
The practices and the rituals that we have in our life, I think, make us who we are. Sometimes we do it out of like a personal need to set our day right or to end our day on the right note, and prepare us for the next day to be as successful as we are personally and professionally.
So why don't you talk to everyone real quick about your morning routine? You're just telling me right now. There's a couple really cool things that Sam does that I think are unique and also super helpful. And maybe I might take a page out of your book and staple it into mine.
I love it. Okay. Okay. Morning routine. And I also just want to preface that this isn't every single morning. I would love it for it to be every single morning, but there are some mornings where I have a really early showing appointment and it kind of throws me off, or I'm up late because I was at a networking event and so I can't wake up as early. But on an ideal day, my routine is as follows. I wake up at 6 a.m.
Early.
I do all my quick bathroom stuff, contacts, brush my teeth, wash my face. I do gua sha, it's that stone that kind of like lymphatic drainages your face. But one little thing that I do that I really love, I look forward to it. I put the gua sha in the freezer. It's a stainless steel one. So when I do it, it wakes up my face and it feels so nice on your skin.
We should do gua sha gifts. Closing gua sha gifts. Just put it in the freezer and then put it on your face.
It feels amazing.
All right, I think I might do that.
It feels so good, and and then obviously you're giving your face a massage. You're waking up, it feels nice.
So you're in bed?
No, I'm in the bathroom.
Okay, so you wake up, you do your contacts, you go to the living room or the kitchen, you get your gua sha out of the freezer,
go to the bathroom, and then I do it.
Okay.
And then,
how long does that take?
A minute.
Really?
I'm quick, yeah. And I'm also I'm in a routine now, so I'm
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So right side first, left side second?
I do my left side first.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. Because I think I'm a righty, so naturally I go
across
out before I go.
Do you ever practice with your left hand doing it?
No.
Okay. I ask because when I was young, I used to brush my teeth with my right hand because I'm righty.
Yeah.
My father would always prepare me for war, and in case my arm got blown off, he's like, you need to be able to brush your teeth with your left hand. That was what he said as a kid, and I was terrified. It's what?
You're I'm going to war.
I'm but my dad was in the Navy. My grandfather was in World War II. So based on that was the history of what happened in my family. And I'm not saying anyone's hands got blown off, but he was just preparing me. So now in part of my routine, it's I'll be brushing my teeth and then I'm lefty.
And you're going to war.
Yeah. So I'm preparing. So it's
yeah.
I guess he was preparing me for being ambidextrous. That might have been it. But
as one does.
So maybe you try that as part of your routine.
Okay.
I know it's a crazy idea. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
Routine.
I'm all for switching it up or implementing new things. And also I feel it uses a different part of your mind too. Your brain. Yeah.
Yeah, right brain.
Blaine.
Right brain, left brain. Standard.
Okay, so I do that skincare stuff.
Okay.
And then we focus on the mind. So I go into my living room and I have a red light therapy panel. Because now that all the my facial products are on my skin, I want to go in front of the red light therapy unit because that helps just absorb, and it's good for collagen production, reducing inflammation, energy production, or cell production. So I sit in front of that for 20 minutes and I put on a meditation.
How big is this red light panel? I've never heard of this concept, so maybe you can elaborate.
It's
Really?
Yay big.
Okay, it's these lights in the studio.
Yeah, there are a ton of different products now for it. There are masks that people put on. They strap in the back and so it goes directly on their face.
I like masks.
Yeah, I'll get you one.
I have many masks. I have a lot of eye masks when I sleep. I can't sleep without it. It's a comfort place for me.
Oh, really?
Eye mask. I hate light. Can't deal with light if I'm sleeping. If there's like one light on, I'm like,
Oh,
so I have to put the eye mask on. We'll get to me in a second.
yeah. We'll get to you. Okay. So I actually, but I have to put on a mask when I'm doing the red light therapy unit because it is really powerful.
Wow.
So mask, red light therapy unit, meditation for 20 minutes, and I just like get my mind in a good place.
Now, is this a result of Joe Dispenza, or were you doing this before your Joe Dispenza retreat?
I do. It definitely is a result of Joe Dispenza. However, I was doing meditation, but less consistently. But if I did do a meditation, I would literally pull up Spotify and pull up like binaural beats or like theta waves, because those are just really good too. It puts your mind in a state of relaxation.
Does that have to do with a certain frequency? And what does that do to your body?
It triggers a certain part of your brain that puts your mind in a state of like relaxation immediately.
Wow.
So theta waves, binaural beats, even like the Tibetan bowl sounds. Oh my God, I love that. It makes my body like chill in a good way.
Yeah.
So like even if you don't have any meditation practice, closing your eyes for 10 minutes and just putting one of those playlists on does good things for your mind.
Right. Do you sit or do you lay when you meditate?
Sit.
How do you sit? Do you cross your legs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cross my legs. I'll put something like a pillow like under my butt, and then
Cross your legs. Oh, that's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So that's that for like 20 minutes. Then I get into the morning concoctions.
Whoa. I mean, this is like a real big process. Okay, keep going. I'm
I
excited.
know. I feel like you're so fascinated by it because not to gender stereotype, but I feel like women are more into like the different elixirs and like facial routines. Like we care a lot about our skin.
Well, you'll hear my routines. So we'll talk about that.
Okay. So I have 3 drinks in the morning. Well, first I fill like a mason jar up, like a liter mason jar with water. I try to finish that. Then I'll make bone broth.
Sounds yummy.
It is, because it has collagen in it, it has some protein in it, so you're kind of like kickstarting your digestive system.
Cool.
Apple cider vinegar, and then matcha with almond milk.
Why matcha?
So I have like I grew up always having coffee, and then one day it made me kind of jittery and anxious, and so I switched to matcha, which I find that you still get the energy, but you don't get like the jitters. You don't get like the heart pounding, the mind racing kind of like feel.
But isn't that important in real estate?
There are some mornings like this morning where
Coffee.
I needed coffee.
I'm upstairs getting some hot water. I look over. Sam's like, I'm just getting coffee.
Yeah. Trust me, there are some mornings where coffee is definitely the go-to drink for me, but most mornings I like to have matcha.
Okay.
So I have those 3. And then I like to do some sort of workout, whether it's like 30-minute cardio or if I like take a class somewhere, or I just do like Pilates and weights, like something just to move my body is ideal. And then I come home, I take a shower. I can't do cold showers, but I like to kind of keep it on the lukewarm to colder side, just because it's like good for your body. Again, I like to do things that like wake you up, kind of get the juices flowing. And then it's makeup, it's getting dressed, and then it's having like some sort of breakfast. Yeah.
Wow. So you have breakfast on top of all the elixirs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because like matcha's just to wake me up. Apple cider vinegar is just good for like your digestive system and, some other processes in your body. And then the bone broth is just good for setting your stomach like first thing in the morning and for collagen and like some protein.
Wow. That's a really solid morning routine.
So that's everything about me.
Well, that's just the morning.
That's
have to
just
do
the morning.
Like daytime and then also night, but maybe I should share my morning now.
Let's hear about your morning.
So my morning's a little different. I'm a little confusing sometimes.
Wait, hold on. I just want to say too, before we met, I remember watching your TikToks, and you made a TikTok of your morning routine, and you cracked an egg in a glass and you drank it raw. Is that still part of your routine?
To be honest with you, no.
Okay.
A good friend of mine, his name's Andy Culp. He's the man. I love you, Andy. He's crazy. He's my friend who I ran a marathon with 2 days notice with brand new shoes and like put holes in my feet and did the whole thing. But he loves doing extreme things. And one day he was like, all right, I'm just eating 2 raw eggs every morning. Like that's my routine, like Rocky style. because in the movie Rocky, he was eating the raw eggs. So honestly, I only did it once, but I put it on TikTok, and maybe people are like, "Oh my God, he's crazy!" But I only did it once.
Okay.
Don't judge me there.
No judgment.
There is video evidence on TikTok if you want it, but that's not necessarily what I do. So I'll walk you through some basic things. I usually wake up around 6:50, 7 o'clock. That's the first thing. I just wake up and I generally sit there because I'm usually confused when I wake up. I'm like, where am I? What's going on right now?
You're confused when you wake up.
Yeah.
What are you confused about?
About what's happening. I'm like hitting the snooze button. I do it like snooze at least once because I like the extra 10 minutes. I know it's like lazy, but I do it.
It's okay. I snooze too.
Just like, because it's like you're in this semi.
So you're confused because you're coming out of like your dream or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Because when I sleep, like I'm out.
Yeah.
Like you could throw like footballs or things at me, like not moving. So like I'm out. So when I'm waking up, it's very hard for me to kind of come out of that like deep state.
Okay.
So I'm like, where am I? Sometimes I could wake right up. I mean, it's not every time.
I'm just picturing you being like, where am I? Who am I?
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Yeah.
I like to look. There's like a window near my bed. Isn't it? Like, look out the window. I have like a curtain thing because I don't like light. So I'll be like, light. And you can see like the sunrise.
Light.
So I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Okay.
Then, so I live with my girl. Her name's Lola. We usually hug each other for like 10 minutes. It's like a nice hug.
That is nice.
So it's like warm and fuzzy, and we do that. So that's part of the routine. And then usually Lola gets up. She prepares breakfast for herself. I just don't like to eat breakfast like too much. So she's up. She has a very strict routine. I think it's very important to have somebody who has a strict routine in your life because it helps like guide you a little bit.
True.
I might just like, if she's not around, I might just like get up and leave. And I'm like, oh, I forgot to eat. And like, where's my watch? And like, I'm like, and I'm just out of the house and I'm just doing things.
Yeah.
So I have a tendency just to like I wake up and I'm like, where am I for like 10 minutes? And then I'm like going, right? So what I do is I usually observe her. She eats like 2 dates in the morning. And maybe a piece of like sprouted bread toast. And then she will make herself a tea, and then she'll make me a coffee. So I have a coffee, usually just a coffee with some oat milk that's in a frother. It's very important. Lola used to live in Italy for 10 years, so she's
very cool.
Very particular about drinking and eating. Me, I'm always like on the go, so I'm always standing up. Or, drinking my coffee, like standing up, like, okay, gotta go. She's like, sit
and eat.
down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do I have to? So sometimes I sit, sometimes I don't.
Okay. So you get out of bed and you go right to the kitchen for the coffee.
Yeah. Or I'm fortunate enough to have a hot tub in my apartment. So in the morning, especially when it's winter, it's a little different in the summertime because it's already hot. And it's like, why are you in a hot tub? So then I turn the hot tub water down. And then I do more of a cold plunge scenario. But it's still not, it's like lukewarm.
Yeah.
So it's
like
great
that.
because when it's cold and we're entering the cold season now, it's October 31st. Tomorrow will be November 1st, which is like, oh my God, the year is flying by.
Crazy.
But the weather is changing. So the great thing is I have a really nice terrace and I have a big hot tub. So I go out to the hot tub and I'll just hang out there. I'll have my coffee out there. I'll check Twitter. I'll see if anyone's got any questions or text messages. I'll check my email. I might make some phone calls. I usually like calling Steven first thing in the morning. Steven is an agent on the Lundgren team and he crushes it, but he's just always up early.
Yeah.
I know if I call Steven at like 10 or 11, like he's already out doing things. So I'll call him like super early. I'll be like FaceTiming with him, like from the hot tub. Like, oh yeah, I'm in the hot tub. What are you doing? Do you need help with anything?
So the temperature of the hot tub depends on the time of the year.
Right.
Okay.
So I'll put it down at like 55, I think is the lowest for the summertime. I think in the winter you want to have it at 104, which is max temp. But outside of that, 102 is pretty safe. You don't want to be in it too long when it's 104 because you get like really tired. So what I like to do from there is I have like a pull-up bar over there. I'll like leave the hot tub. I'll do some pull-ups.
Okay, so wake up, coffee, go into the hot tub, and then get some reps in.
Get some reps in.
Oh, and call Steven.
Yeah, yes, not all the time I call Steven, but I like to call him early because that's when you can catch him.
Yeah.
And then I'll do some pull-ups, just some light stuff, just to kind of like activate my muscles in my body. Maybe I have a kettlebell, so I just pick that up and I kind of just like hold it. Bring it above my head, just do that kind of stuff. I mean, look, I also go to the gym.
Yeah.
But if I don't go to the gym, that's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
And I do gym time in the morning usually. So it's like either I'll do the coffee and I'll go right to the gym.
Yeah.
I might go with Lola, then we come back. And then, I'll either hit the hot tub or, go to the bathroom. And in the bathroom is where I have like a pretty good, you have your skincare routine. I have my skincare routine as well as my facial hair routine.
Enlighten us.
Yeah. So being a bald man, it takes a lot to keep my head this shiny. So I have a number of different things that I use, from products to shavers. So I have the Pitbull shaver, which is like Pitbull's a bald Latin musician, and he's awesome, and I love him. So he's got this shaver. It's like you just kind of like put your hand in it, and it's got like quad shaver things. And I kind of just go like this, and it like brings all my hair down really, really low. But it doesn't get you to the scalp. So then once I do after that is I'll put some lotion on my head, or I'll even do like some pre-shave, and then I bick it. So almost every day I'm taking a straight razor to my head.
Ooh, does it hurt?
Sometimes I'm bleeding a lot. I'll be like leaving and Lola's like, you're the back, because like there's like a ridge in the back of my head.
Yeah.
So like if I'm doing it too fast, I'll like hit the ridge and just rip all the skin off. Yeah. Especially if I'm like, so like this morning, I shaved most of my head last night, so it was only like cleanup this morning, so I didn't have
maintenance.
Because I was like, if I do it all in the morning, I run the risk of bleeding. I'm a little crazy. So after I do that, I'll hit the shower, and I like to spend the first 5 minutes of my shower
singing.
Sometimes it's.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, there's an echo in my shower. Because it's like, anyway. So I'll have a hot shower for 5 minutes. And the hot shower is like, comfort, yay.
You turn it.
And then, when I was young, my parents, I'm Swedish. So they were like, you're Swedish. You should always finish the shower with a cold shower. So I've done that since I was a kid. And, I don't do it every time. But like, this morning I did it, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, because you could be nice and hot and it like lures you to sleep. You're like, oh, this is so warm. And then I'm like, forget that. Whoa! Right? But that really wakes me up, and it gives me a lot of energy. I know it's uncomfortable. Being a bald man, it's also super tough to have like the cold water right on your head.
Yeah.
Like it like really, because you have protection. You have your hair. Like I'm getting it direct. So for me, that's like a really great way to wake up. Then I brush my teeth. Then I douse my skin with lotion. We have like an organic special, everything is organic that Lola gets. I'm not trying to use anything with like aluminum or like, the deodorants that I have are aluminum free. And, I try not to have fluoride in my toothpaste, right? Like very specific types of things.
Yeah, me too.
I also have like, my sister's a dentist. So I do a lot of, teeth work. So I do floss. I have like the little flossers. My sister yells at me.
You floss in the morning?
Yeah. I also have a water pick. My sister's a psycho. I mean, she's not a psycho. She's just a dentist.
Yeah.
Same kind of. But,
interchangeable.
Yeah. But the thing about her is she's like, hey, Nile, like your teeth are my brand. So if your teeth are not perfect, like you're actually insulting me. So she always says that to me, and I'm like on high alert. So if I see my sister, she's like, how much candy have you eaten? I'm like, none. I'm like eating a Kit Kat like I did last night.
If you were to sing one song in the shower, what would you sing?
What I always like to say is I'm Mike Jack in the shower. I could sing, but I'm not that good, so I'm not going to like perform anything right now. But I always like to say, yeah, I'm Mike Jack in the shower, Okay. All right.
Okay. So you do your teeth stuff.
So I do the teeth stuff. And then like the complicated part begins.
Oh. We haven't even gotten to the complicated part.
That's the wardrobe. I mean, it's crazy. I have an extensive wardrobe. I have a lot of suits. It takes me a very long time to decide. If I'm tight in the morning and I know what's going to happen, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick it out the night before.
Yeah.
If I don't pick it out the night before, it's sometimes a marathon. I'm like, all right, what am I going to choose? But I think when you limit your time, you get pretty creative.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I know on this podcast, for example, I've worn this suit with a black shirt, but I'm like, I like black on black. So what else do I have that's black? I'm like, oh, this is really cool.
Yep.
Chambray. I've been collecting suits and all kinds of business attire for a very long time. So for me, I just like to throw things together because anybody can wear a suit. Any person in the world can just go to a store, buy a suit, wear a white shirt, put the suit on. But it takes skill to have pocket squares, to have different types of shirts, to have different types of ties, matching that, putting the jacket with a certain type of slacks. Very, very important.
Very.
So I take not a long time. I mean, I'll spend at least 15 minutes.
The night before.
Or the morning getting ready. And if I'm late, I'm late. I don't care. Sometimes I'm like,
gotta look good.
Yeah, fashion. So that takes a little bit of time. And then it depends on what my day looks like. If I'm coming into the office like today, I'm out the door pretty quick.
Yeah.
I haven't even eaten breakfast today. I don't really like to eat breakfast. I know I probably should. But I think for me, my mind is a little bit sharper when I don't eat. I think that might get me into trouble a little bit later in the day when I'm starving.
And you're hangry.
I'm hangry.
And you're yelling at me for no
I
reason.
Throw things in my mouth and I'm like, did I chew that? And I'm like, ugh. So I'm working on that. Everything is a work in process. I'm certainly not perfect. But if I do come to the office, I generally like to get in, open up my email, see what's pending immediately, if I have any inquiries or anything like that. And then I'm immediately trying to, change my day towards being on the offensive. So a way that I like to think about real estate in life is you can either be proactive or you could be reactive. So reactive is like you wake up and you look at your emails. And then when you look at your emails, you're like, okay, reacting to everything. I like to scan them, see what's important. Yeah. And then I go immediately. If I don't really do I need to respond to this email at 9:05 a.m.? Probably not. So I could give them a little bit of time to wait. But in that first hour, 30 minutes when I get to the office or start working on my computer, I like to go on the offensive to literally just pump people with tasks and things to do so that by the time a couple hours have gone in the day, they've already reacted to me, and I'm not waiting to do that later in the afternoon. And then people getting back to me at 3 or 4. I like to have people get back to me by 10 or 11 so that I can process that and then continue to move through my day. Yeah,
that's a really good point. I'm happy you brought that up because the night before I make a to-do list or I write all my email drafts of the emails that I need to send in the morning. So I like to get on my computer, depending on how urgent certain emails or things are, around 8:39. And then once I'm on, I am boom, 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 boom. I'm just checking things off because I know exactly what I need to do. That way I don't have to think and you're saying be reactive, be oh, I have to get back to that person. Oh, but I have to get, I have to leave my apartment now. I'm on it and I'm getting out everything that I need so then I can go to my first showing or go to my first appointment. Not have to think about the things I need to do anymore. Right. It's it's already been done.
So do you actually hit send or do you use schedule send?
I like to hit send because I have this fear, it's a random fear, if someone gets back to me first, let's just say I'm following up, then then the follow-up email already went out and then they're I just responded to you. So I like to just have them as drafts all lined up and then just see if anyone has already answered me before I follow up with them or given me the information I need before I send that email. And then I, take it from there. So
one thing I do when I use that technique of schedule send is I always like to send out those emails super early. Yeah. So I avoid, 5:50, 6 a.m. That also makes it seem oh my God, this guy's up all the time. Yeah. So I'll do that just to screw with people, email Samir at 3 a.m. but actually email him at 10 p.m. And he's this guy doesn't sleep. And a lot of times I'm not sleeping and I'm actually emailing him, but I'll just do it just to throw people off. Yeah. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. I think that's everything with our morning routines.
That's great.
I love it.
So what was the key takeaway that you got from mine? And then I'll tell you what the key takeaway is from yours.
Okay. Key takeaway from yours is I need to tongue scrape and you're confused in the morning.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that you plan your outfits the night before, because sometimes I don't. Well, actually, most of the time I don't. And sometimes it takes away from just like getting at the door, being productive. I like to be very efficient in the morning. And I think I'm going to start implementing that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the key takeaways that I took from you is meditation. You know, I've done that a lot in my life. I've kind of gone through phases. Sometimes I meditate, sometimes I don't meditate. But I think it's something that has always brought me a lot of peace and joy. And it's a really calming and grounding and centering energy that I have when I leave that state. So I think it's something that, you know, I'll take with me and try to implement, even though it's super hard sometimes, especially like if you're in the habit of meditating, it's very easy. Like your body wants it and craves it. But if you don't, it's like, this is foreign. I don't know about it.
Yeah. Sometimes like a tip that I always give people, or at least I used to give myself when I was first meditating, was like, just relax. Like put on like sounds that feel calming to you. Whatever that they are.
The Broken That Never Sleeps podcast. This is
don't meditate to our podcast.
Oh. Sorry, shameless plug there.
Okay. Put on whatever sounds are coming to you. I'm happy that it's this podcast.
We're on Spotify too.
We are on Spotify.
And YouTube.
And just try to focus on the sounds. Focus on your body, focus on your breathing. You can take like 10 deep breaths and just like kind of regulate like your breath and your mind, but don't force it. Don't like make it too contrived. Like just the whole point is that you're supposed to clear your mind to then be able to have like a really good mindset for like the day forward or day ahead.
Right.
A lot's going to go on during the day, but at least you spent some time in the morning focusing on like regulating your mind.
Right. The other thing I would say is bone broth.
Yeah, it's really good.
So bone broth is something that I've always heard people talk about, to be honest, but I've never really gotten into it personally.
It's packed with like such good nutrients for your body, and it's a good thing to put in your stomach first thing in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to like eat too much.
Yeah.
So I feel like that could be a really good like alternative to like food.
Yeah.
But also give your body the nutrients that it needs to like attack the day.
Yeah. My favorite brand, I don't know if I can plug, but Fond bone broth is
Fond bone broth.
You can do it on like a subscription. It is like the best tasting bone broth I've had.
Really?
Yeah.
And how is it made?
It comes in a glass jar, and I just pour it into a mug.
But like, do you know how it's sourced?
It's all on the website. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. I thought you would have researched that. That's
I definitely did in the beginning. But I had heard someone talk about it, and then it came from like a reliable source. So, but I looked into it, and it seems good. I don't remember where it's sourced from, and then I just heat it up in the microwave.
Okay, so thank you for that. Meditating in bone broth, tongue scraping, and confusion for Nile. So thanks for your summary, Sam. That's really helpful.
I said picking out my outfit the night before.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Telling everybody that I'm confused. Yeah, I'm confused sometimes. Okay, I'll take it.
I think
when in doubt, act confused. If there's ever a scenario where there's like a lot happening, I'm always like, what?
I've seen it in real time.
I'm
I'll
really
look at Nile.
that.
Nile's like,
just act confused, and everyone like lays off. They're like, oh man, he's confused.
He's confused. Yeah.
And
Don't talk to him.
I'm like, don't talk to him. Acting confused. That's a trick. Secret. I'd like to get into some more routines. Let's talk about a couple day routines. We don't have to go so in depth. And then I also want to talk about evening routines, because I think, one thing that being a real estate agent does to you is like you really find out what's important to you, right? And what's important to you is lead generation, okay? And everything that we do is based around lead generation. So real estate is a lifestyle. It's not necessarily something that we clock in and we clock out. So despite the fact that, real estate is not occurring necessarily at 6 a.m. when you wake up or at night when we're going to sleep, it's something that we carry with us. So tell me just a little bit about your day. Like what does a day in the life of Samantha Germano look like after you're done with your morning routine?
People ask me that all the time, and I always say, I know it's like a cliche thing, like every day is different. Like Mondays to me are like an admin day.
That's when our team meetings are.
That's when our team meetings are.
In the office, we're all joining as a team. Everyone's working together, collaborating, sharing wins, sharing failures, learning from those failures, growing together.
Yep.
Right.
And then like Monday, like I take care of like the things I need to do for like the week, like if I have to catch up on anything. But every day I would say it's a combination of reaching out to new people or meeting new people. I try to meet 5 new people a day. So I'm trying to meet new people, follow up with current clients. It's kind of like the finder, keeper, doer. And then
you got to find new clients, then you got to
keep your
the
clients
ones that you have, and then you got to like do stuff like show apartments, go on listing presentations. That's usually in the afternoons.
But then there are some days where it's like I have to get a board package out like the next day, and like that's my day, like finalizing it and getting everything in order. Then there are some days where I'm meeting a buyer for the first time, and we're seeing like 7-8 apartments together, and that's my day. There are some days where I'm literally running around New York City. I have a final walkthrough. I have a buyer tour. I'm showing an apartment. Like every day is different. Where like I'll have a buyer who's about to sign a contract and they're doing an inspection. I think it's not like I can't give like a one like straight answer for it, but I like to stick to the finder, keeper, doer mentality of like, okay, no matter what happens today, like let's meet 5 new people, let's follow up with like 5 clients, and let's take care of like 5 things, like the 5-5-5. I definitely have like some other stuff I do in between. I take a combination of like Ubers and the subway depending on how much time I have, because Ubers allow me to be efficient, take calls, answer emails in between appointments, so I'm not getting to my computer at the end of the day and like catching up on everything. I'm like taking care of things like throughout the day.
Smart. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like what Ryan did when he, splurged and got a car and a driver, but that frees you up. You're underground, you don't have service, that kind of stuff. Although I would argue that, being underground in the subway is not that bad. I've been in the city for 15 years. I spent most of my career underground. When I first started in the city, I would always have books, and I would carry books with me, and I would relentlessly read them because I was thirsty for knowledge. So despite the fact that we don't have internet access, there are things you can do underground that will help you. So, if you have a long commute, which when I first moved to the city, it'd take me almost an hour to get to where I was working. So that hour was a very productive time for me. I never wasted a moment. And if you think about real estate as a lifestyle and your business as something that you really need to push for and work on daily, you'll really capitalize on those moments, especially when you don't have service and you're underground. Yeah,
you can listen to audiobooks or identify the 5 people that you want to reach out to. Yeah, things like that.
Right.
Tell us about during your day.
So my day kind of consists of a couple different things. So, I think it's more day specific. It's not like, oh, this is my everyday.
Yeah.
So Mondays, I see my trainer. So I do a special kind of training. It's called functional patterns. I have a trainer in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. His name is Matt. I'd like to get him on this podcast at some point. He really changed my life. I was in a lot of pain, and I had a pinched nerve and I couldn't feel my hands or my feet about a year ago. And I've been working with him, and he's like realigning my spine and my posture and, helping transform my body. I mean, I look way better than I used to. And it's not just about look, but it's also how you feel. So the first 30 minutes of the training, and this is on Monday, I usually do the training first thing on Monday, and it's elbows. So he puts elbows into like points in your body where there's, where there's tension, and he'll release it, and it's super painful. It wakes me up, but it also, if you have an elbow in like let's just say your IT band for 3 minutes, like you're sweating and crying and like, but at the end of it, like if you compare and you just do one leg and you walk around afterwards, you're like, oh my God.
Wait, I want to use him.
What he's been doing is, he creates a lot of space in your body, and then he teaches you like basic stuff from like posture. Like even I've been like sitting like this is no good. You want to take like your chest and pull it out like this. So he's been teaching me how to, sit. It's called functional patterns, like how to functionally use your body and like the patterns that you're doing, how they're potentially incorrect. And then he kind of corrects them from like walking patterns to just bending over and like grabbing certain things. We'll do a whole episode on it, but I do that 30 minutes of like elbow work, deep tissue, like just sticking the elbow in. I love to do that to people at parties. Like this weekend I was in Miami and I just like had a bunch of people on a pool table and I'm just like giving them elbows and they're like, but they love it and they're like, I think it's hilarious. So I do that a lot. It's a part of my life. And I do that first thing on Monday. Then I have the team meeting. I usually get right to the office before the team meeting, handle whatever I need to handle, do the team meeting, and then I usually have meetings with the agents. And then I wrap up my day on Monday by handling all the stuff that I need to do, making a bunch of outbound phone calls, and then heading back to my place. And then Monday nights, I usually do like a class with Lola, and we spend some time to kind of like meditate and share some wisdom and that kind of stuff. So we do that. And then Tuesdays, our podcast days. So right now is Tuesday. So Tuesdays, I always book time to be first thing here in the Sirhant Studios podcast situation with our boy Mikey over here hanging out.
You can't see him, but he's always there.
Mikey Robley, he's the man. We love him to death, and he crushes it. So Tuesdays are dedicated to you, all of you who are watching. So I just want to say thank you for spending your time with us, because we're spending our time to put out this content, and it's like amazing to see you all checking us out. So thank you. Hopefully you are learning a little bit about us, also the business, and maybe a couple tips about life too. You know what I'm saying? So from there, we're going to have a meeting right after this to talk about distribution of the podcast, what we're doing next. So we like to just dial that in. And then for the rest of the day, I'm going to have a couple meetings. Some people want to join the team. So I'm going to have some new hire meetings. We might go to Cipriani, that kind of stuff. Look, in real estate, one of the greatest real estate brokers in the world, not Ryan, but somebody else who's also really, really good. She's a top broker here in New York City. She's been doing it forever. She says that in real estate, you must be visible. So part of my week always consists of being visible. That means going somewhere where people of high value or high net worth individuals might be, and just to be seen. It's very important to do that. Why I think it's great for me in particular is because I have a very unique look. So people have recognized me a lot. And, I have a beard, I have the earring, I'm generally wearing like Louis Vuitton shades. I'm looking like who the hell is that guy? Right? But
you're so easy
to spot, right?
Spot.
But I do that because it's important to be seen.
Yeah.
And if I'm at a restaurant with somebody and I don't necessarily meet them, but then I meet them, let's say at an open house or showing an apartment, because it happens. They're like, hey, I saw you were you at Cipriani 2 weeks ago? I'm like, actually I was. Right. So that is very important. So I like to do that as an aspect of my day. And then from there, Wednesdays, I usually have developer meetings. So that's kind of like the morning. So I'll do my trainings on Monday and Wednesday. And then Tuesday's the podcast. Thursday, I will go to the gym in the morning. Friday, maybe if I wasn't out the night before, I'll go to the gym in the morning. Saturdays, I like to go to the gym. Sometimes we do yoga. And then from there, what else do I do? Wednesday nights, I generally like to go out just to have
Wednesday
a
nights?
night out. Whether it's like a date night or just like being out and being seen. And then Thursday, Friday, I try and get like client time in. And then Saturday, try and take Saturdays off. And then Sunday, again, is like a client day. So it's like whenever the clients want to go out, I do that. Or I host open houses if I have listings that need me to host open houses and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of like my week is based on days. And then I also like to do traveling. So, another way is to like be in front of people is to travel. I was just in Egypt. I did a kite surfing trip with like 25 really cool folks out there in the Red Sea. It was awesome. But, by doing that, you meet a lot of great people and contacts. And generally after doing that, I'm like working on deals. So I'm always meeting people and doing it that way. I was just in Miami over the weekend. Everyone was... we had a party. It was like a Halloween party. Yeah, I took my shirt off like right off the bat, and I was just like walking up to people, taking selfies with guys. Like, hey, what's up, man? And the thing that's great about taking selfies is like it's a great way for you just to
text people.
Get their text. Like, yeah, what's your number? I'm gonna send it to you. And then like you remember. And then I still haven't done it, so I have to do follow up from the weekend because yesterday I was just like laser focused and didn't like know what was happening and completed a million different things. But today, I'm going to follow up with these people. So part of the day has to always be following up from the people that you met the day before or the week before, because if you don't, you're going to immediately follow or forget about them. So I like to follow up with those people, whether it's just, continuing the text or saying, oh, hey, I got your number, but like, what's your Instagram? Or, do you have an email address? Let me shoot you a quick invite to this next event we're hosting. Right? So it's always like meet somebody, re-engage with that person, and then invite them to a place where we already have a lot of activity or an event scheduled, whether it's at the Huxley, a new development, whether it's at an apartment that we have where we're hosting a broker's open house, Sirhan events, lectures, whatever it may be, general parties, house parties. I always try to invite the people that I just met. And if they show up, that's great. If they don't, that's cool too. Yeah. But at least I made the invite. Yeah. And that breeds goodwill for building a future relationship.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. So a lot of that happens. And then, another big part of my day is just like operating the business, right? So looking at the finances, looking at the deals, making sure that all the agents have the deal information properly stored in our file sharing system. So it's got to be stored in the right place. If it's not stored in the right place, like I'm looking and I'm like, nope, not done. Figure it out, right? But that gives you the ability to look at everything that you're doing, not just doing the deal, but closing the deal out, having all the documents in place, from the agency disclosure forms to the exclusive, to the contract signed, to all the closing documents, to the invoice. Like that is all the documents that is required by New York State and by Sirhan to have. And, I'm very, very particular about that. So I like to at least spend 10 to 15 minutes a day just popping in, looking at it, and then, harassing the agents. I don't think this is done. You just said it's done. It's not done, but in a good way, because that creates a very valuable skill that everyone has, which is attention to detail and making sure that the job is fully complete before you celebrate that it's complete.
Yes.
We have a lot more to talk about.
Yes, we have so much we can talk about.
To the night program.
Yes.
Because it's all about the program.
This was just AM.
AM and during the day, and like what your week is like, kind of, and like what you generally schedule your day out and what you do. I think it's very productive to listen to what you do. I didn't even know about this red light thing. We'll talk about it offline.
Sure.
Maybe I'll get 6 of them and just be like,
please, no.
Get a Tibetan bowl.
Don't do that.
No,
you can do it.
Okay, I can get one?
You can get
is
one.
6 too much?
Yeah.
6 is too much?
6 is too much.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for listening.
Listening to our morning and daily routines here, whether it's real estate or not real estate, tongue scraping or being confused. We are super grateful that you checked in with us and we have the opportunity to share with you.
And that we were a part of your routine today.
Yes. Let's make this podcast a part
of your
routine. And we have an excellent guest next week. I will not say who it is, but you'll be very, very excited. So can't wait. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Make sure to hit the comments, hit the notification bell, subscribe, do all that, and we'll see you next time.